nous nous engageons à vous offrir le meilleur. Pour vous, nous ne cesserons jamais d'innover pour toujours mieux vous servir.
From Africa to Europe, you're connected to G24, and guess what? You made the right choice. Thanks for joining us and good evening. I am your host for 13 minutes of intense information from Gabon, Africa and the world. Let's have a quick look at the summary. In Gabon, economic operators are committed to environmental protection. How? The details in this newscast. Also, Friday, November 12th is the 5th day of the Qatar 2022 qualifiers. The Panthers of Gabon will host the Knights of Mediterranean at the Franceville Stadium. Yana Kenenge, our sportsman, is on set to discuss on the issue. You want more details? Stay tuned. You'll be served after the jingle. Once more, welcome back. In opening, we talk of climate. In Gabon, economic operators are committed to protecting the environment. This is the case with Rougier Gabon, which is the first to have a concession certified with the international FSC label in the country. This forestry operator is now fighting for the climate. The details are given by Yana Kenenge.
We are approaching to the end of the 26th Conference of Parties, which is essential for reducing greenhouse gases on a global scale. The reduction of carbon dioxide concern all actors present at the conference.
Rougier Gabon
was the privilege and great responsibility to exploit and manage nearly 20 million hectares of forest in the Congo Basin, where logging operations are very selective, environmentally conscious, making sure that we reduce and minimize our impact on the environment, and ultimately manage the natural forest by preserving the integrity maintained during exploitation. In other words, we are the guardians of these carbon sinks that contribute positively to the health of the planet.
The first FSC certified concession in Gabon, the operator has several actions to its credit on the social level with a targeted corporate social responsibility policy.
So this label, which is the most demanding in terms of environmental and social performance, gives more power to the holder. It allows us to develop and carry out a certain number of community projects according to the villages that are concerned by our farms. Some of these projects are initiated by the populations, which also lead us to the realization of income-generating activities.
With more than 80% of the country covered by forests and several logging companies, environmental conservation is one of the priorities of Gabon's leader. The country has set a target date of 2022 for the certification of all concessions with the FSC.
In economy, despite an unfavorable global economic situation and the rising public debt, Gabon's agricultural sector, particularly the crude palm oil sector, has seen generally positive results in recent years. Oil production and palm branches show increases of 60.5% and 56%. Let's watch. Established at 157,850 tons at the end of June 2020, bunch palm production has strongly strengthened to 253,296 tons, an increase of 60.5% year-on-year. The palm oil sector has experienced renewed growth since 2017, and its results mainly from the increase in the productivity of the Muila and Awala plantations near Kango, two sites which are today among the most successful in the sub-region. The current increase in the oil production sector and palm bunches is a spin-off of the country's economic diversification program launched a few years ago by President Ali Bongo in order to make Gabon less dependent on oil production. The agricultural sector could represent between 750 billion and 1,000 billion CFA francs of GDP by 2025, depending on the scenarios, that is, between 1.5 and 2 times the value today. Note that palm oil production has not been marginalized and it has posted a 56% increase in crude oil production, which reached 59,947 tons at the end of June against 38,430 tons a year earlier.
In the same line, the African Development Bank Group and the Agence Française de Développement on Wednesday signed a co-financing and partnership agreement to strengthen their relationship and leverage additional resources for impactful projects in Africa. Futibi Muleka tells us more.
It is in Paris that the African Development Bank President Dr. Akewumi Adesina and Agence Française de Développement CEO Rémi Rioux signed the agreement on behalf of their two institutions. The agreement, which runs for 5 years from 2021 to 2026, targets an indicative amount, 2 billion euros, in co-financing over its first 3 years. It will complement the current partnership between both institutions through mutual understanding by facilitating staff exchanges, sharing knowledge, and jointly organizing events. The existing partnership already covers such key sectors as infrastructure, water and sanitation, agriculture, and the private sector. The new agreement supersedes an earlier framework agreement signed in November 2015, aligning with the agenda of Finance in Common, a forum convened by public development banks. The African Development Bank and Agence Française de Développement will capitalize on their respective expertise and experience. They will focus on adaptation to climate change, sustainable infrastructure and urban development, governance, sound public financial management. They will also cooperate on enhancing the private and the financial sector. This will include developing joint actions to support human development and addressing fragility, especially in the Sahel region. Recall that the African Development Bank and Agence Française de Développement have enjoyed a fruitful partnership. Recall that the African Development Bank and Agence Française de Développement have enjoyed a fruitful partnership. ADB is FD's fourth largest financial partner and its largest partner among the regional multilateral banks. AFD, in turn, is the bank's largest bilateral financial partner.
Also, Nigeria has been in the limelight in France since last week with the visit of President Muhammadu Buhari to the French capital, Paris, who is invited to the Paris Peace Forum and Nigerian space specialists to demonstrate the country's ambition to conquer space. Let's listen.
Received in turn in France, Nigeria is honored by Emmanuel Macron's country. This week it is President Buhari's turn to attend the Paris Peace Forum. But last week, Nigerian space specialists were invited by ESO, the African Aeronautics and Space Organization, to talk about the development of the space sector. Abuja has the ambition to become a space power in Africa. A rising star of the African economy, Nigeria also intends to shine in space. The country has one active telecommunications satellite, NIGCOMSAT-1R. It aims to acquire 2 more by 2025, and why not train an astronaut in the process? Abuja intends to seize every opportunity to develop its space program, which is seen as a vector for development. Currently, Africa as a whole is still poorly equipped with satellites, but programs are multiplying. Space engineer Sekou Draogo is the founder of ESO, an association promoting the African space sector. He explains that 43 satellites have been launched since 1998. There are about 20 African agencies or institutions working in space. The continent has seen a 350% increase in space launches over the past 5 years. So there is a real knock-on effect. The African Space Agency has just been endowed with walls, and 2022 will be the year of its official launch. The African Space Agency will serve the pooled resources but will not replace national programs.
On a total different note, in the USA, the murder case against Carl Rittenhouse was thrown into jeopardy Wednesday. His lawyers asked for a mistrial over what appeared to be out-of-bounds questions asked by the chief prosecutors Thomas Binger. Yana Kenenge has the hints.
In tears, During the testimony and with emotional session, Carl Rittenhouse is facing counts including intentional and reckless homicide, reckless endangerment, and illegal possession of a firearm after he fatally shot Joseph Rosenbaum, Anthony Huber, and wounded Gage Grosskreutz. He could get life in prison, though it's unusual for a defendant in an homicide trial to choose to make a self-defense argument. The staggering turn came after Rittenhouse took the stand and testified that he was under attack when he pulled the trigger. The video played during the hearings showed the mob going on the young man who was running for his life, as it was said by his lawyers. On Wednesday, day 7 of the trial, the debate on the use of firearms in the United States, as many activists reacted to the Second Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. The prosecutor, Thomas Bender, asked him whether it was appropriate to use deadly force to protect property and even challenged his choice for silence right after his arrest, leading to a strong quarrel between trial judge Bruce Schroeder and the prosecutor's line of questioning. The defense asked for a mistrial with prejudice due to the prosecution's questioning, and the judge said it will take it under an advice. Noted that Rittenhouse has pleaded not guilty to 6 charges including first-degree intentional homicide, first-degree reckless homicide, and first-degree attempted intentional homicide.
A note of sports now. This Friday, November 12, for the 5th day of the Qatar 2022 qualifiers, the Panthers of Gabon will host the Knights of the Mediterranean at the Franceville Stadium before traveling 4 days later to face Egypt in Alexandria for the 6th and last day. The details are given with Yana Kenenge, and just behind, we get to talk to each other about this matter.
Ahead of Friday's match against Libya for the 5th day of the 2022 World Cup qualifiers, Patrice Neveu's group held their first training session on Wednesday afternoon, where the captain Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and his teammates took an active part of this first session held in Bongoville. Under the watchful eye of Gabon's football authorities, Patrice Neveu made the first group go through first exercises this Tuesday. Different tactical schemes were deployed in order to defeat the Mediterranean Knights of Libya on Friday. As the second group already in the country and composed of Andre Biogo Poko, Aaron Bupenza, Kevin Mai, and Didier Ibrahimdo, they joined the rest of the group this Thursday to fill up the den. Asumu Akwe, who was called by Patrice Neveu, is infallible and was quickly replaced by Wache Yohan. For ground recognition, the last training session of the Panthers took place this Thursday in Franceville, the fortress where Gabon has never lost a single game. Though chances of qualifying are still tight, a good result this Friday against Libya could see the Panthers on the good path to realizing the greatest achievement of Gabonese football, playing in the World Cup.
As announced in the headlines, Yana Kenenge, the sportsman of the English newsroom of G24, is here and set with us to talk about this match tomorrow. Good evening. Yana Kenenge, what do you think are the chances of Gabon to qualify for the 2022 World Cup in Qatar?
Yeah, first of all, noting that Gabon has already started very badly. And this 4th day of qualifiers, this 5th day of qualifiers, I mean, it's going to be a chance for the country to get at least the maximum 3 points against Libya. So noting that in this group, we're only taking the first person of the group that gets a ticket to go to Qatar. And then Egypt is already in front with 10 points. Second, Libya with 6 and Gabon with 4. And then closing the group is Angola with only 3 points. And then we're hoping for a very good performance of Gabon in Franceville.
Now, Franceville, an unbeaten stadium. What do you think is Patrice Neveu going to bring us a plus to this?
Yeah, we all hope to see our team actually performing well, because we have the cadres that are there, the main players who have been invited and they're actually taking part of this match. And we have Ekwele Manga who's back. We have main players like the captain Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, who's been in top form in Europe, especially with Arsenal. We have also Aaron Bupenza, who's the superstar, who's beating goals where he's performed in the Emirates. So we're having Patrice Neveu to use these teams to have a very good tactics. Let's just hope we go either with the 4-4-2 formation or with the 3-4-3 in front. We never know how things are going to be up, but then we have to play on our forces, and this is the striking force that we have.
Last but not the least question, what do you think is the expectations of the Gabonese people as this competition is concerned?
Obviously, as you see, we are already qualified for the AFCON in Cameroon, which will be held in Cameroon. And then having to play the World Cup will be a very good thing. And then people are very excited. This could be the first time Gabon participates in the World Cup, but then the chances are only taken if we perform well on the field.
We hope that the Gabonese team is going to win tomorrow's match. It's time to wrap up this newscast, but before we leave, let's review the headlines. Watch. In Gabon, economic operators are committed to environmental protection. How the details were in this news edition. Also, Friday, November 12th is the 5th day of the Qatar 2022 qualifiers. The Panthers of Gabon will host the Knights of the Mediterranean at the Franceville Stadium. Yana Kenenge, our sportsman, was on set to discuss this issue. It's always a pleasure to inform you. Remember, information continues on G24 on our social medias. Stay tuned. I'll be back with more news at 10:30 p.m. By the way, Gaia Mapesi, the legend, serves you in French at 8 p.m. local time. Take care of yourselves. Goodbye.
Tu sais quoi? Le virus